Hey, everybody, welcome back to Homeopathy at Home with Melissa. I'm so excited to be here today with Jude Tuscano. And she is Dr. Murphy's wife. I've been working with Jude. Actually, Jude, I don't know if you remember, you treated my son 10 or 12 years ago. It was a long time ago.
No, I
Yeah.
don't remember.
Yeah.
No.
So, I mean,
But
yeah, we can't remember everything, right? But yeah, so many of you, my listeners know that I went through Dr. Murphy's program years ago. And so I am so excited to have Jude with us today. And what I want to do today is often, so most of you know that I offer career consulting. So you go to my website, you click the career consulting. If you have questions, what does it take to be a homeopath? Which path should I take? Which program should I do? And I very often recommend Dr. Murphy's program, and Jude is running that. She's doing some amazing things with it. So I really wanted Jude to come today and share what she's doing with the program, because she's added some things and she's really making it amazing. So welcome, Jude. I'm glad you're here with us today.
yeah, thanks for having me. I'm pretty excited about where the program is going. And, it gives you energy to get excited about something that helps other people. So that's what this program is all about. And of course, that's what Dr. Murphy was all about.
Yeah.
It's interesting how we get on this life path and then we notice where our energy really needs to go. And once we give in to where our energy really needs to go, we get more energy from it. And I think homeopathy, being an energetic medicine, it just fits perfect, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I love it. I
yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
So tell us what you're doing with this program. How would somebody get started in the program?
Okay. So what's different, Dr. Murphy's run this program for over 20 years. And when I came into his life, of course, being the loyal, lovely wife, a lot of students complained to me. There's no support. How do you make a remedy? What am I going to do about this? How long, So his program originally was really geared for practitioners that just wanted some extra information. And it was a completely independent online program. And he made contact with them once in a while, but it wasn't like I have created now. So the program as it is now has all his work. And then I amplified it by adding 3 preliminary classes that explain really the top 50 remedies and how to integrate them with cell salts, and then how to make a remedy, how to use the remedies. So basically, after those 3 first classes, you have no fear of starting to really use the remedies. And then you go into his module 1, right? And it just all folded together beautifully. So students are supported, the modules fold in to each other, and information can be shared online with our student support groups. So, that's how the program works itself. And I'm a little bit calcarbon, I'm a lot mercury. And if you don't know what that means, then you need to study some more of Robin's work, because I think that changed my life, his work. And so I evolved a program evolved out of my information and knowing him, and that is integrative homeopathy. So we have 3 programs. We have a home use, which it doesn't have very many hours. It's about 60 hours, and it runs about $600. And I'm going to ballpark that. If you're a true Saturn and a math whiz, you might want to get in there and calculate whether the shipping's going to cost you more and the books are going to, But since each program evolves into each other, the books are the same throughout. It's not like you have to buy a massive amount of things to go into a different program. And then we have the integrative program, which runs about $2,500, and it's a 200-hour program. And I'm still actually working on the end part of that. But within that program is another certification that you could easily apply to every aspect of your life. And that is the Planetary Bio Energetics component, which Robin always referred to as those planets. So those are 7 classes, 1 for each planet. So it's a really fun course, and you'll see all your cases totally different. Your children, how they interact with each other, your family, right? You're saying yes. Have you done that already? Yes.
No, I haven't done the planetary one, but I believe you. I know. Yeah, it sounds.
Yeah, and in the Materia, and he was so excited to rewrite the Materia Medica because he could put the planets in.
Yeah.
So now
Yeah.
you'll
Yeah.
see them in there. And, if you take that coursework, you'll understand why he put them in there and how excited he was about sharing that information. So I'm really happy that I did that with him. And then, of course, we have our traditional clinical homeopathy program, which is the 200 hours and it runs about 4,000. So that's the gist of it. We have a great outline of it. We can go over it again if you need me to, or I can answer any questions about it, I hope. Students really have a lot of support. I've created a game night, and I think these books that he wrote are wonderful, but they're a little overpowering, aren't they?
Yes, I hear that a lot.
Yeah.
And I remember feeling that. I remember when I went through the program, there wasn't, I was out there floating. I was on my own. Plus, there was no smartphone. I don't even think I had a computer in my house. I'm sure I didn't back then.
Yeah, it's
and
true.
So I was on my own. I had to fill out my application and mail it in, right? And I was
Yes.
I was on my own. And there were these, and so I didn't have the preliminary courses that you now that you developed. And I just jumped into module 1, and I didn't know anything about homeopathy except for what I had been treated with from my classical homeopath. And so it was hard. It was really hard. And so that's why I'm super excited about the support that you're offering, and these preliminary classes, I think, are beautiful. I think that's really going to help set people up for success along with the support.
I agree. Just helping people understand really the basics, so then they can apply it to their everyday life. Because I think really homeopathy is self-care. I do. I use it. I don't know about you, but some of my friends say you use that kit more than anybody I know, but it's just it's part of our lives, isn't it? How can you imagine your life without a kit? I can't. And Robin brought that to so many people. Yeah.
Yeah. And you said that too. You said that his materials, or that, his teaching changed your life, changed my life.
Yes, it did. Yeah.
Yeah. I was seeing a classical homeopath, but I wasn't learning anything. It was just, here, take this. And I didn't know why. I saw things changing in myself and in my son, but I didn't know. Just when I'm eating a food, I like to read about it and see how good it is for me. It makes me feel even better.
Yeah,
and so I don't always do that, but sometimes I do. And, the same homeopathy, as I saw changes in myself and my son, I knew I wanted to help people with this. And so then I decided I reached out to a friend who was in his course, and she handed me her children's CD, the CD set.
Mm-hmm.
Just listen to this. And I listened, and I was like, okay, I gotta do this. This is amazing. So I would love if you are if you want to show us on the computer the programs and the differences between them, because I get that question often. Should I do the home course, or should I go straight to clinical, or where should I start? Maybe you could help us know where to start.
Great. Sure. I'll see if I can share my screen. Let's. It's giving me some interesting options. Let's see if it works. Didn't look normal. I guess because I'm a co-host.
That's all right. Take your time.
Let's see here. Well, I think my advanced sharing options say host only. So that means you need to help me somehow.
Well, I can share it. I have it pulled up. You want me to share it?
I think it's supposed to be that way. The universe is telling us.
Oh, well, okay. So this is what I have pulled up. What do I need to click on to?
Can you go back a screen? Because this is one specific program, and I have a chart that has the 3 programs together. Here it is. This is beautiful. So this is a good way of looking at, what are my options? Of course, all these programs are online. And so, if you're in a good internet situation, it's a lot easier. And you really do need that to be able to, hear it and get good internet. So So here are our 3 programs. I briefly outlined them, a little bit when we were talking, but the home use for 60 hours. So who would want to know about home use? Well, everybody, right? And then you'd want to be able to integrate some herbal remedies, which I talk about how to make herbal remedies, how to integrate the planetary bioenergetics, all in those 3 basic classes that are really the prerequisites for all 3 programs. So it's easy to start here. And then of course, some of these credits flow into the next program. Okay. And, I think people need to realize that, we're not Michigan State University here. We don't have 10,000 students. We're here for you. I have excellent tech support and, dynamite little office guru, just like you, right? Helps you.
Right.
We need that, right?
That's
And
right.
so I think it's a very easy program to follow. So it's really for anybody who wants to learn homeopathic prescribing for emergencies and other chronic conditions as well, this little class. It's really a good taste of what is out there and how you can pull things together. Okay. If you used one remedy and had great results and wanted to know more, okay, let's say I had somebody stay over and something smashed their finger and I just gave some hypericum. What is this? Like they know me well enough to just do what I said. I didn't have to give them a long lecture about it. And then they're like, I want one of those kits and I want to know how to use it. This is a little bit beyond just the kit, but it will explain that for you and give you some really a little certification if you want to maybe. I think like gathering women together and women helping women is one of the biggest ways we can share information about natural remedies and health and wellness, which we really don't learn in school. Like didn't when I went to school, right? We had to learn that after either we got sick or all of a sudden we needed help and we weren't getting it. I mean, that's often how people come to natural health.
Excellent.
So that's a good way too.
A question that I often get is, does the program teach any protocols? And my answer, I hope is right, is that either no or maybe very, very little, because this is not about protocols. This is about how to take a case, how to use homeopathy, know your remedies, know your materia medica, how to choose remedies. And then at some point in one of these, you're going to learn how to choose potency and how often, frequency, and how to really use homeopathy. Protocols are great, but what if the protocol doesn't work? Or what if you don't have a protocol? You need to know how to use these books, these beautiful books, right?
Yes.
You need to know how to use.
Right. Yes. So there's one protocol I teach. It's called ABC, and it is the 3 remedies for surgery: arnica, bellis, and calendula. So I can't say there's no protocols because that is one. But on the other hand, I mean, if you only have a 30C kit and someone is in crisis, you need to know how to use that kit. You're absolutely correct. You can't be saying, oh, I need this, I need a 1M, I can't start the protocol. Just hold on to your burning bladder infection over there and I'll go get my protocol. I mean, that's the way I look at it. Interesting enough, though, I had a conversation with a gal from India in reference to the Banerjee protocols that we're referring to, really, aren't we?
Right.
And she said, there are so many people in India, they needed protocols. There's no time.
Right.
She said, and they don't have Dr. Murphy to teach them how to understand differentials or the top 5 remedies for, because that's how he taught us. So now, as we really use the remedies, once you use the remedies, you never forget. I'll never forget hypericum after I stub my toe and use it. Yeah. I'll never forget arnica for a paper cut. I'm like, oh my gosh, paper cut can ruin your day.
Right.
It can. You're like constantly, I never knew I used my finger this much. Now I have this paper cut, right?
Right.
So, I mean, I think the more you use the kit and the more you use the remedies, and, it's not like you have to memorize everything before you start. It's part of your learning is to learn to use the remedies. Yeah.
Right. Right. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I do think you're right. Everything we need to know is in the book.
Yeah.
This isn't a book to me. This is like a jewelry box, and you
Right.
open it up and it's full of jewels. Like,
Mhm.
the comment section tells stories to make us remember the remedies. I
Yeah.
mean, it's much more than an index. It's a story about, a method of, natural remedy that can help us. It's so wonderful. It's
Yeah.
different than ever any other modality, as we say, in natural health. Because don't forget, I had a huge clinic. I've been a colon hydrotherapist, a massage therapist, an aromatherapist. So I have all those tools to pull in. But the
Mhm.
icing on the cake, as Robin and I always said, is homeopathy.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I love it.
good. Yeah. So
So
that's
do
why I would do it. And that's just, how it came to change my life. Everybody has a story about that. So,
yeah,
yeah.
definitely. Do you suggest everybody starts with home use, or is this where you have to start to go here and to go here?
No, all of the home use work is intertwined into the clinical homeopathy program. The biggest difference is the integrative program, if you want to learn about the planets and some daily exercises. And right now, I just did a class on gemstone therapy where I integrated folklore and really the energetic frequency of the minerals within the gems that react, and help our body heal itself. So it's just, kind of freaks me out how it's almost like homeopathy, where just wearing a gem, due to its energetic frequency, helps the body heal itself. That's what's going on. We're changing our energy. So I think, since I'm not, like I said, really strict, you could start with the home use, say, okay, I want to switch to clinical. And then you could say, okay, but I want to know more about planetary bioenergetics. So you can take those classes. I'm not so rigid. One of my biggest, if you're going to quote me on anything, I would say flexibility is a sign of health. And we have to find it in our whole life, don't we?
It's true.
When we cook and we're out of an ingredient, we have to figure it out. When,
Mhm.
all of a sudden something happens we weren't planning on, how we react to our environment affects our life for the rest for the rest of our lives. So,
Yeah.
you know,
How you react to the trial or the problem is more important than the trial or the problem itself. It
I
really
agree.
is.
Mhm.
Yeah, because exactly what you said, when things don't go the way you plan them, then, the flexible person is just going to go with the flow and do the next thing, and it's going to be okay. The inflexible person is going to get stressed out, lose sleep, health problems come from that. Yeah, I like what you're
Yes,
saying.
absolutely.
Um,
So, and we know that stress is the leading cause of all disease. So, I mean, there
yeah,
it is. So, yeah.
yes,
So
yeah,
in homeopathy, I think sometimes in this day and age is taught very rigid, and that's an allopathic way of looking at homeopathy, when in reality, it's an energetic frequency. And yes, when we give a remedy, we have tried and true remedies that work for specific ailments. But when they don't work, we have to have the flexibility and the knowledge of, how to use the book to take the person, on that, or get the person back on that path toward health or feeling better. Right.
exactly.
Yeah.
So if somebody chose to um, do the home use, you would click on the more information
Yes.
button, and then it shows you the 101, 102, 103. So we would go in order.
Correct. And then you would pass a little quiz, which is open book. In actuality, no, the first thing you have to do is apply. And once you apply and you're accepted, you get 50% off some of the coursework. And you
Wow.
also get a 20% discount on the books for the course. So it helps students, because the shipping sometimes can be outrageous. So, because those books are heavy, right? They probably weigh 5
Yeah.
pounds each,
Yeah.
so, that's part of it, is the shipping. So that discount gives them a little bit extra and an incentive to buy the books ahead of time to help them move through the program. So this first program here just requires, I think, those 2 books. And if it was me, of course, I'd buy the keynote Materia Medica. So the Materia Medica and the Meta Repertory. And then, yes, you'd go through these classes.
Okay.
And they are done PDF format recorded so that, or excuse me, PowerPoint, so you can print them out and take notes. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? So they're not like your recordings that you had how many years ago that you were trying
They're-
to
There's
organize.
my closet right there. I have all my
Yeah.
CDs in the closet right behind me. Um, so, okay. Or do you
And
have?
then, let me just figure, while we're doing this, and then you go into some recordings from Dr. Murphy. And I've created outlines for all these recordings. So when he goes off on a story and a tangent and you get lost there and you forget where to come back to, I have specific outline notes of the lectures so that you know the key points.
Yeah.
Because that was a big thing for students. They're like, what am I supposed to know? Right?
Yeah.
I mean, I
Yeah.
went through the program, so I can relate. So yeah, good.
too.
Yeah.
So I didn't lose it.
Sorry, because I kind of interrupted because I was like, we're just in the flow of going over this. Let's keep going.
Absolutely.
But so yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm trying to move the screen. If you finish the foundation classes and pass the little, I think it's a 50 question quiz. It's on one of those Google things. You can do it all online. It's very easy. Once you do that, we give you access to module 1. So it's really a pay-as-you-go, self-paced program that has a lot of support and excitement. I try to make it exciting, not to, this is the disease and this is what you need to do. It's more, right. What's going on? I mean, how many people have you treated and you think it's one remedy? And then you talk to them and you see, oh my gosh, I think this remedy would solve the whole problem that you're having, right?
Yeah,
So
exactly. I can't tell you how many times I go into a consult, I'm looking at their intake form and I'm like, I know the remedy. And then after I talk to them, I'm like, oops, nope, I didn't. Once I get more information, then that remedy probably is in the list somewhere, maybe, but there's something different. So we have to know how the questions to ask. And I do remember my question though. Do people have
good
lifetime access to the courses once they buy them?
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. Yes. And I have a program set up, God forbid anything happens to me. So yes.
Okay. Wonderful.
Yes, I do. Because that's a heartbreaking thing. Because I love to listen to some of those old CDs in the background, not in that form, but these are the CDs online, right? So we did edit out some of the do you remember the beginning of them? They'd say like tape 1. And then it would say where it was, and you'd be like, I want to know what's going on in this class. So we did edit a little bit of that out, but that's all we've edited.
Some of it also, you could hear him writing on a chalkboard.
Yes.
And then I'm like, I can't see what he's doing. Did you help us with that in what you did? Do we know?
I have to say that all that work was integrated into the books. Because I asked him about where are those notes? And since his passing, I've cleaned out quite a few things and found old notes, but none of them, are labeled in a manner that says class, whatever, this,
Right.
But he talks specifically about different things that I might have found overhead projector. Like, do you remember those overhead projectors?
That's what he had.
Plastic?
So I went to a class in Virginia. I went live in one class and he had the overhead projector in the room, in the hotel learning area. And so it was so good. It was so good to be there with him teaching live. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, that's fine. I agree 100%. So yeah. So, and I think a lot of students think that there's something they're missing when he uses the words, look at your handout, but this is before he wrote his books. So he refers to different materia medica in some of those early classes and you get a little fuzzy. So that's why the outlines really can help you with that. So yeah, good.
Beautiful. Yeah. Another question that I get sometimes is when people go through the CHOM, the certificate program, or any of them, could they sit for the CCH exam after that?
I actually don't know the answer to that. I don't, because
sorry.
I've never sat for any of those exams. I think it's more important to use the words that we help people by educating them.
Exactly.
That
So I
gets
was
us-
just saying that to a lady the other day. I was saying, she asked me, I said, oh, you know what? It's designed. You take a test and you pass it and you put CCH behind your name. Does that make you a better homeopath? No, it doesn't. It's a proof. It's supposed to be proving something to the world, and I'm just not about that. So I agree with you, and I've never said that word either, so I didn't know, but I do get that question.
Yeah.
And
Well, I think in the world of medicine, so to speak, that credentials are important. And that's why we just created that home use certification. At least you have that proof that you did study. You're not
Right.
just opening the books and claiming to be something. We have our certifications, and I think that's important. I think boards, in Robin's mind, the board just put limitations and allowed the FDA to come in and to
Okay.
give us a little bit of a hassle. I try not to follow that. But I'm sure that there are sites online and there are people online that you can get more information about that.
Okay. Yeah. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you would, so once somebody becomes a student, then
Mhm.
they're going to automatically be able to be in your study groups and
Yes.
have these wonderful things? Good.
Yes, and we have a student support page. We have 2 Facebook groups. One is a general umbrella public group, which I think is a great way for students to see case taking and how other homeopaths think. And then, like I said, I started a game night, which is just simple repetirization, and that gets you in the book. That's like we talked about those books, but if you could just sit with that book and learn how it's laid out, you can use it so much easier, right? I think you've done some classes on repetirization, haven't you? And
Yeah.
talked to people through the book. Yeah.
So yes, I did my first one with a group of people, and that was about 2 months ago. And that was my first ever with that size of group, and I learned some things. It was not easy. So
Well, even with our simple location sensation modality little game, people come up with different answers because the book will take you a different place. And then that's where that whole listening to the person comes in. Is this person, do they exhibit the characteristics of the remedy pulsatilla, or do they represent the characteristics and have the worries of the personality of calcarea carbonica, the mindset, right? So, and I think instead of worrying to get the exact remedy, we need to see the remedies and their picture and observe the client, because sometimes when nothing works, aconite works because the person is so full of fear. They can't lift the fear to get to the underlying problem. So, yeah.
So good.
Yeah. So I hope
I'm
that's not over
excited.
anyone's head that's listening, but I think if you know those 3 remedies that I just talked about, or at least what we call the portrait, right? Portrait of the remedy, the 3-dimensionality of the remedy. I mean, that's kind of the juicy part of homeopathy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm gonna jump into those homeopathy 101, 102, 103 classes. I'm gonna do those just so you all know that, that's not just for the brand new beginner who has never done anything with homeopathy before. I believe everybody can learn something. I'm excited to jump into that because I never got, was able, or not, I never knew about those things. So I'm gonna do them. And I hope that some, a lot of my listeners will do that too, because those of you that are taking classes with me and listen to my podcast, I talked about Dr. Murphy all the time.
Yes.
Because he was a genius and he was brilliant, and he brought homeopathy to a different level for me and for many, many, many people. And I learned about the program of CHE and Marcus Hernandez through Dr. Murphy. I was with Dr. Murphy first, and then heard about CHE through him. So then I became a CHE Pro member, and he just opened up everything. So I'm very, very thankful for you, Jude, that you are expanding this program, doing the support groups and all the extra things that you're doing. I think it's going to really enhance this program. So I'll have some, great information for people now that when they come and ask, what should I do? I love
Good.
self-paced, you know, a lot of my clients are mamas with young children and they're homeschooling and they can't stick to a rigid schedule. They need to do self-paced. And so this is beautiful.
Good. Thank you for having me then. That's
I'm
great.
so glad you
As
could be
excited
here.
I am, and I'm excited you're going to take my classes. It's always it's a treat when someone says they learned something for me. So
Yeah, yeah, absolutely it is. Yes, it really is. So thanks for being here with us. And we will I'll look forward to talking to you again soon and jumping into your classes, and have a great weekend.
yeah, thank you. Bye.
Bye.